Next, we'll hear from Julia Richards, the host of the popular Presello YouTube channel. In Julia's House Tour Confessions, she will talk about how to successfully engage audiences through YouTube private home tours.
Hi, my name is Julia and I host the Presello Open House Tours on YouTube. Now I have here a set of questions from PropertyGuru that I would love to answer, so let's get right on it. How did you get started hosting a YouTube channel that showcases some of the most interesting and or most expensive private residences in Metro Manila? And actually, this is quite serendipitous. So just as Presello was starting at the time, they wanted to make house tour videos, much like what you know now, but more on a more professional and more like a virtual tour, really, not so much for entertainment value. So that's where we began, that's where we started. And then it was just, again, serendipitous that I was there and I was game for the idea. Did I think that it would grow this big? I did not, because again, as mentioned, this was originally supposed to be material that eventually evolved into entertainment, which is, it's a good thing. It's a great thing. And as for the showcasing some of the most interesting and or most expensive private residences in Metro Manila, well, that one is in the hard work of Presello, being that those houses are actually under the listing of Presello. So I'm very fortunate I get to host and go around these houses. I'll be honest with you. What made your channel click with online audiences? Okay, so there's no particular metric for this one. There's no exact explanation for why that is, but I do have a theory, you could say. It has a lot to do with a sense of adventure, a sense of curiosity, right? You know how when you meet a friend and you're very curious as to where they live or how they live, so you go to their house and it's all very interesting to you, and your friend kind of gives you the luxury tour of their house, and it doesn't matter how small or how big their house is, you're just curious, you want to know, because that's how we are, I think, naturally. So our videos, I think, clicked because they get to see houses, right? They get to see what's in the market, and also they get to see the standard or the contemporary homes that they can have. So apart from it serving as a sense to say, or something to satiate their sense of curiosity or adventure, it's also inspirational and aspirational. Things that you want to have, right? Even if you're not in the market for it right now, like a car or a house, you eventually know that you want one and you're going to buy one. And you're just looking for that motivation, that pull to help you get going. And that is a huge factor, I think, to why our videos blew up the way they did. It's aspirational, inspirational. It satiates their curiosity and their sense of adventure, especially now given the fact that a lot of people can't leave their homes. They at least can travel and go around people's homes through our videos. How do you review and use data from YouTube analytics or social media insights to improve your channel? Right off the bat, every social media platform is different, but all of them will tell you a story about your audience when you learn to read the numbers eventually, right? So yeah, it's not exactly a popularity contest, although it may seem like it because social media, right? You feel like it's all about the likes and stuff and the subscribers. Well, yes, those will help because, of course, with anything that's data related, the more samples there are, the better, right? But actually, what really matters is being able to understand who you're talking to, who your audience is. So with a few bits of information, like whether or not they like your content or not, and what time they usually like to watch or you go online, it'll tell you what direction you're supposed to steer your content in, what time you can post or should post, what day, etc. So while at the end of the day, you're still gonna have to create your own content and that's what you put out in your own channel, it's nice that you can sort of listen to your audience through the metrics, through the analytics, and have this two-way connection or communication to keep improving on your content. So even if your content's or your contents, your audience can't literally talk to you, although actually they can through the comment section, it'll give you a clearer picture and make you feel like you're communicating with your audience well because of the metrics. And then of course, yeah, there's the comment section. But just to, take it with a grain of salt when you read your comment section. Because they are being honest, but let's be real. The numbers will tell you a clearer picture of your of your connection with your audience rather than certain trolls on your comment section. Do you watch other private home tour videos for inspiration? Yeah, I've always enjoyed watching home and lifestyle shows. So whether it's lifestyle shows or about celebrity homes, like the ones from Architectural Digest, I love seeing those. And even, every now and then I'd spoil myself by watching some Ines Ilmeser videos. Did I say his name right? Yeah, I've always enjoyed watching homes. And I don't watch them specifically to inspire myself as a host. It's more of, I enjoy houses in general. So, it's that. You seem to recognize the materials or patterns or building techniques used in private homes. How long do you spend viewing or studying a residential property before you film the tour? And what catches your attention the most in a home? Well, I'm gonna have to thank my background being an interior design student for that. So I've been familiar with a few of the materials, well, a lot of the materials and the finishes and the construction since I was studying it in college and up until I worked for a certain developer and then eventually for Presello. So I've been surrounded by these things, and of course you get familiar, right? When day in and day out this is what you're surrounded by, you get familiar, and when something is unusual or out of the ordinary, it catches your attention immediately, whether that's a new material, something that you're not familiar with, something that's new, something that's, especially with regards to technology, there are a lot of materials that are suddenly, oh, wow, that's new. I haven't seen that before. So that really gets your attention. And apart from that, things that are well made will also get your attention because we're surrounded by, houses. We see the quality, we see the craftsmanship. So when something really stands out as, wow, that is really well made, it will really get your attention. And also, just to, as you may or may not have known, but I'm pretty sure you guys do, I'm sure all of you do, there are standard sizes, right? And it's your basic guideline, and this is an international standard of whether things, or rather of how things are supposed to be made, sized, and built. So when you see something that's over and beyond the recommended or standard internationally, you take notice of it. So for example, when you see senorita steps, right? It's lower than your standard stair height. You take notice of that because that is a feature that developer or builder took the time and money to actually create, right? It's more expensive to create something that's over and beyond what the standard is. So always take note of that. Do you ever look for sustainable features or materials? Yeah, absolutely. Like apart from the world just going towards that whole sustainable living, because of course we have to take care of our environment, right? So we have to make sure that our materials are sustainably sourced, that they are, fair trade and all of that. Design-wise, it should also be sustainable for your lifestyle. So meaning apart from it being good for the earth, having less carbon footprint and things like that, it should also be able to support a lifestyle that enhances it without making it, harder for you, which is basically what design is, right? So yes, of course, absolutely. I always look for sustainable features and materials, and it's something, again, that if the builder or the developer or designer or owner took the time to go over and beyond of what the standard is, as I referred to in my previous question, then it's definitely something that's probably for sustainable living and needs to be paid attention to. How much does your background in interior design and photography help in selecting properties or features to focus on during the house tour? Okay, so obviously my background in interior helps me a lot when it comes to talking about the houses and the materials and the layout, the craftsmanship, etc. So that is a big help. But when it comes to photography, it's more of the visual cues, what to show you guys, and to want to show you what I see. And that's not really direct because I'm not the one who shoots the videos, right? I'm the one in front of the camera. So really, this is John's side of the work. He's the one showing you guys his vision. However, my knowledge in photography does help in the sense that I can visualize in my head what he sees, so I can sort of help pan out how I'm going to walk in certain areas so that he can effectively show you what we see in person. And also, I know what areas to avoid because I know things are going to be washed out or too dark, things like that. Technical side of photography, basically. And when it comes to production. So it's not much help per se for the content because all of the visuals, it's really up to John, not me. But that's how it helps. What is the most outrageous house tour and what is the most expensive house tour? Okay, so I have one answer for both those questions, and it is the Ayala Alabang Mansion. So first of all, size alone is already outrageous. It had a lot size of half a hectare and then 3,000 square meters of floor area. By the time that we finished filming the house tour, we were exhausted. Okay, John and I had to catch our breaths. And then we had to cut it into 2 portions, parts 1 and 2, because it was just so long. It was almost like a short movie, a full-length film. So yeah, definitely one for the books. What is the simplest or most affordable home tour and what was special about that tour? Well, one comes to mind, or actually 2 of them come to mind, but they're not necessarily the most affordable, but they are simple and they are our Japanese-inspired home. So the Muji apartment and the Japanese ingenuity video that we have. Do you have international YouTube home tour stars that you'd like to work with someday? Well, no one specific comes to mind, but I would love to collaborate with home tours who do the tiny homes and the big living in tiny homes. And I would love to collaborate with celebrity house tour videos and hosts because that's amazing. So I'm just a fan of houses, whether they're big or small. So being able to see these houses in different countries would be amazing. There are so many house or apartment tour videos available online now, with varying quality and level of production. How do you maintain the quality of your tours? Well, I have to say that is heavily reliant on the fact that our team has been consistent since the start. I've always been the host, John has always been the videographer, and then the rest of the team, the second camera, the photographer, the drone guy. We've all been here since the start, so it's like taking steps, right? All of us are on this level and then we eventually get better individually, so we take one step up and we're able to maintain that level of quality because we're still the same people with the same gear, and then eventually we keep upgrading and upgrading, so we keep going up and up. Maintaining that quality is pretty simple. The question really is, how do we improve, right? So it's easy to maintain what you already have, but how do you go up from there? And as I mentioned, it's getting more gear, being more up to date, and making sure that our literal quality is at par to what standard or even better if we can. That being said, though, the last question is, how do you think private home tours on YouTube will evolve in the next few years? Well, definitely house tour videos are all about immersion. It's about being able to appreciate these houses, right? These are virtual tours. So I think for as long as we're able to cope with the changing tech, with the evolving tech, house tour videos will also evolve with that. So next thing you know, it's going to be house tours in a 3D space or 3D environment. And that would be really, really cool. And I think that's where house tours are going to go eventually. But for now, it's going to be all about quality, production quality, and literally resolution, probably, right? So always try to keep up with the times. Although, of course, there are a lot of things that we like to keep in tradition, you should also be innovative and open-minded into adapting to what we have around us and what our consumers and audiences want. And that's definitely how any field is going to keep evolving. That being said, thank you very much, Property Guru, for having me here, and thank you guys for sticking around for a few of my cuento. And I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day and enjoy the rest of the summit.
With 165 cities, a population of over 1.4 billion, and rapidly growing middle class, China is an attractive market for overseas developers. But many developers struggle with the size of the market and spread of the cities. There are language, cultural, and geographical barriers, not to mention difficulties in building trust with agents and buyers. But there's help. PropertyGuru China Solutions can demystify the Chinese investment in real estate development for you.
The PropertyGuru China team has made penetrating China as easy as ABC for the foreign developer. PropertyGuru has a comprehensive online to offline agents acquisition program for the foreign developers to help recruit the Chinese agents. Our brand engagement program allows foreign developers to build a very comprehensive brand zone within the Chinese internet space. We make use of big data and smart intelligence and technology to help you to reach people who are super interested in your property.
Today, over 80 developers from Southeast Asia have benefited from PropertyGuru's help, and you can too. With PropertyGuru China Solutions, bridge the gap with Chinese investors by leveraging on our unique programs. Unlocking the China market is as easy as ABC. Reach out to us today to find out more.